Hello, hello! So today's topic is going to cover ancient morality versus modern immorality. Don't think that your morals only derive from your religion. No, no, no. There are morals that are within us before religion was even founded. It's called the human morals, the human virtues, the human values that allow us to be human. This is, imagine if there was no religion. Imagine if there was no religion. Just for a day. You would still have to have values. You would still have to be a good person. You would still have to care about your neighbor. You would still have to not harm and hurt other people. You would still have to be a responsible person that looks after their community. So this is why values have nothing to do with religion. They don't. However, and I'm a big supporter of religion. I think religions are beautiful because they bring out those values. They bring out the human values. That is the point of religion, is to bring out human values. So religion is a tool of human love. It's a tool to get closer to the divine, because the divine allows you to find that human love, that human connection, that we're all part of the same cosmic family. So with today's topic, with the ancient morality, I'm going to start by saying that relates to reading the signs of nature. That was the first expression of ancient morality, was reading what is nature showing about us. So I'm instantly thinking about the zeitgeist and how actually in Europe, in the Enlightenment, with philosophers like Herder and Hegel, they examined human culture. And so they say it's sunny and warm and happy in Spain because that's how the people are. And sometimes the skies in Germany are gray, dull, and boring because the people in Germany can be that way too sometimes. Understand this is a playful way of expressing how we read signs from nature. I'm speaking kindly to Germans. I used to live in Germany, and they are dull sometimes. They can be very serious, because maybe they are thinking about their complex history. I haven't been to Spain, but from what I hear, is that they love the weather there, and so they want to be outside and they want to soak up the sun. The Germans stay inside because it's cold and dark and gloomy. And when they do go outside to the park and enjoy it, they bring out the sun. This is a metaphorical expression of uplifting yourself, and maybe the signs of nature will show that too. You will pay attention to the sunlight once it's there. So reading the ancient morality also is tied to animal spirits and fables. So the ancient morality is seen in how we look at the animal spirits. The butterfly returning to us is a message from our grandmother. The bird flying above our head is a message from our grandfather. That we respect nature, that we see the beauty in the animals and the insects, that they are part of us and part of a greater system. So this is the ancient morality. And so it's shown naturally. And as we evolved into modern morality, that's when we actually got the ideas of free speech, the idea of freedom of religion, the idea of freedom of expression, the idea of freedom of association, the idea of education and learning in a formal sense as a public society. So see the ancient morality as language not being yet recognized, and how language was the rise of civilization. Really. That's when we were able to start writing down laws, and laws are supposed to be an expression of the modern morality. However, there was a fall that happened. The fall that happened was that the golden rule was forgotten. And once the golden rule was forgotten, that's when tyrants rose to power. That's when they forgot to treat everybody as equals, to treat everybody as part of the same cosmic family. So the golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. Because you don't want to see your brother and sister treated in a horrible way. Because you wouldn't want to be treated that way. The cutting off of arms, that was the fall of mankind. The first person who said, because you stole, you must get your hand cut off. That was the first demon. That was the first demonic person. Because they caused harm to be done, not only to the perpetrator of the stealing, but also to the person who had to exact the punishment was harmed. They got alienated from the thief. They actually took something away from the thief that could have been far greater than anything that the thief could have stolen. So that is where we are all cosmically and karmatically connected in karma. Karma is the chains of connection between us and our actions and our wishes and our thoughts and our desires and our deeds. So because of karma, we are tainted to action, and action is imprinted on the physical reality. So history is stapled into time. History is stapled into reality, and you cannot undo history. You cannot undo the cutting off of the arm because of somebody stealing. So the starting of like the Hammurabi codes and the draconian codes, that was the fall of mankind. That was when we became degraded. Because once you start taking away somebody else's rights, even if they do commit a bad thing, you are already doing eye for an eye. Even though you have the law on your side and you're saying, now this is the law that I can cut off your arm because the law says it. No, no, no. You're breaking the ancient morality. The ancient golden rule is being broken. That is why philosophers like John Locke were so important. Because John Locke said, there is a law within nature. If you expedite yourself, deputize yourself is the term. If you deputize yourself as the executive of the law, then you are taking the law into your own hands. That's a violation of the law. The law is set as an objective as a reflection of the laws of nature, of the divine creator giving us natural rights that need to be protected. So the law was a way for us to say, hey, this is the way we're going to formalize this protection. So the law was a way to safeguard the ancient morality and to stop the ancient immorality that happens, which is when people think that they can take the law into their own hands and that they can be the one to exact the punishment. That is the origin of ancient immorality, is thinking that you have the right to violate somebody else's rights. And even if you think that you have the law in your hand and you're still violating people's rights, then that's a false law. That is why John Locke said you can identify what is illegitimate, and then you can establish new laws, new constitutions. So that's why our founding fathers set up an idea that our system can be replaced if necessary. Our Constitution guarantees that. Guarantees that we can not even have to take the extreme end. We can amend the Constitution in real time instead. So what I want to talk about is this modern immorality. Modern immorality was really started with genocides. It started with genocides, and genocides are ancient. But I do want to start with the Inquisition. The Inquisition was the first genocide, they say, that was based on ethnicity. And they were actually isolating Jews and Moors for persecution. And that really set the groundwork for when they exported this genocidal ideology of ethnic cleansing to the New World. And that's when they started destroying native cultures, indigenous people of a whole other continent. So the Spanish and the Portuguese were at the forefront, and the British and the French followed along. And so did so many other countries in Europe, because they did that to India and Africa and China. European colonialism is a long, long history of genocide. I'm going to say it again. European colonialism and modern imperialism were a long, long, long genocide. So this is an example of an extended capitalistic genocide that happened. They went from slavery to wage slavery to capitalistic slavery, and then those colonies had to break free and establish themselves as independent countries. A lot of countries didn't come about until after World War II. A lot of countries were not here until about 50 years ago. We have a lot of new countries. The Middle East is filled with countries that were just randomly drawn up. That's just a fact within the last 50 years. These are countries that have, of course, roots. I'm not trying to dismiss the roots of these countries. Imperialism is awful. I believe that there should be reparations in the form of economic endowments for all countries and all people all over the world. That's something that I believe in, and I hope could happen someday. But what I need to do is show the nuances. You have ancient morality. You have ancient immorality. You have modern morality, which is free speech, the ability to express yourself. This is a modern ideal, a modern moral ideal, that you are free. All countries will eventually be free to have free speech. They will, because that is the higher self. We are entered into a modern world where there is free speech. And so we have to be wary of the modern immorality, which is genocidal. It wants to designate certain groups as being worthy of persecution. And that's wrong. Persecuting somebody based on a difference of who they are, based on a difference of their identity, based on a difference of their history, their ethnicity, that is wrong. That is something that we speak out against, because it is a violation of the ancient morality, which says the golden rule: treat others the way that you want to be treated. So look at the different concepts that I am putting forward and seeing that there is actually a dialogue between ancient morality and ancient immorality, modern morality and modern immorality, and how it's all connected. It's all connected, and we are all becoming into our higher selves. We are recognizing that it is wrong to violate human rights. That we must stand up for human rights. That human rights is the expression of our higher dignity. That by protecting human rights, we are protecting our human dignity. So, this was my talk today on ancient morality versus modern immorality, and how we need to stop modern immorality.